Did you know that you might be a descendant of Genghis Khan? It's estimated that 1 in every 200 men alive today is a direct descendant of this formidable conqueror. This isn't some wild guess, mind you, but a conclusion drawn from a rather surprising genetic study. Picture this. Back in the year 2003, a team of geneticists discovered a certain Y chromosome that appeared so frequently and widely amongst the men of the world that it couldn't be a mere coincidence. This chromosome, they found, originated from a single common ancestor who lived around 1,000 years ago, right around the time our man Genghis was, sowing his wild oats, so to speak. Incredible, isn't it? The very blood of the most prolific conqueror known to man may be coursing through your veins. Now that we've piqued your curiosity, let's delve into the life of this extraordinary man. Born as Temujin in the harsh Mongolian steppes, Genghis Khan knew hardship from an early age. Imagine a young boy, not yet 10, left to fend for himself, his family and his tribe in the unforgiving vastness of the Mongolian wilderness. This was the life of Temujin, the boy who would grow up to be Genghis Khan. His early life was marred by tragedy and hardship. The death of his father, Yasuke, a respected tribal leader, marked the start of their family's exile. Bereft of their protector, Temujin, his mother and his siblings were abandoned by their tribe, left to fend for themselves in the harsh environment of the steppes. These were the circumstances that forged the future conqueror, but young Temujin was not defeated. He learned to hunt and forage, to survive in the barren landscape that was his home. He learned the value of alliances when he formed a bond with Jamuka, a boy from another tribe, a friendship that would later turn into rivalry. He learned the bitterness of betrayal when his own half-brother, in a desperate act of survival, stole from him, a crime that would lead to his first kill. These experiences, harsh as they were the crucible that shaped Genghis Khan. They instilled in him a fierce determination to survive, a tenacious will to win, and an unyielding desire to rise above his circumstances. He was a boy of the steppes, shaped by the land and the life he was thrust into. He was a survivor, a fighter, a leader even before he became a conqueror. He was a boy who had nothing, yet he was a boy who refused to be nothing. This was the boy who would grow up to be Genghis Khan, the man who would conquer the world. His story is one of resilience, of survival, of rising against all odds. It's a testament to the human spirit, to the indomitable will that resides within us all. His story reminds us that great things can come from the most humble beginnings. From these humble beginnings, a conqueror was born. Temujin, the once destitute child, began his ascent to power through alliances and sheer force of will. This man, who would later be known as Genghis Khan, was not born a leader, but rather fashioned himself into one. His first alliances were formed in his youth. One such alliance was with Jamuka, a powerful Mongol chieftain and a blood brother to Temujin. This alliance was instrumental in Temujin's early rise, as it lent him the support of Jamuka's followers. But alliances were not always a bed of roses, and the relationship with Jamuka would later turn sour, leading to a bitter rivalry that would shape the destiny of the Mongol Empire. Yet, it wasn't just alliances that propelled Temujin's rise. His marriage to Borte was a significant turning point. She was more than just a wife to Temujin. She was his confidant, his advisor, his pillar of support. Borte's intelligence and counsel were invaluable to Temujin's growth as a leader. In fact, it was Borte who was kidnapped by a rival tribe, an incident that sparked Temujin's journey towards uniting the Mongol tribes. And unite he did, with a force and determination that was nothing short of extraordinary. Through a combination of tactical brilliance and diplomatic savvy, he succeeded in consolidating the numerous Mongol tribes under his banner. Each tribe, with its own customs and traditions, was seamlessly integrated into a single cohesive force. And it was this unity that gave birth to the strength and resilience of the Mongol Empire. But consolidation was not just about power and control. It was about creating a sense of identity, a sense of belonging. And that's exactly what Temujin did. He instilled in his followers a sense of purpose, a shared vision of a united Mongol nation. With the Mongol tribes under his command, Temujin was ready to embark on a campaign of conquest. The stage was set, the players were ready, and the world was about to witness the rise of one of the greatest empires in history. In 1206, Temujin was bestowed a new title, Genghis Khan, the Universal Ruler. A monumental moment in history, this marked the start of an empire's birth, an empire that would be remembered for generations to come. Genghis Khan, once known simply as Temujin, had managed something extraordinary. He had united the fractious Mongol tribes under one banner, his banner. This was no small feat. For centuries, these tribes had been rivals, their feuds as old as the harsh steppes they inhabited. But Genghis Khan, with his charisma, his military genius, and his sheer force of will, brought them together. He had a vision, a dream of a unified Mongolia, and he made the tribes see it too. Under his leadership, these once divided tribes became a force to be reckoned with. They were no longer just a collection of nomadic horsemen. They were now the Mongol horde, a disciplined, devastating military machine, the likes of which the world had never seen. Genghis Khan didn't just change the political landscape of Mongolia, he transformed its very identity. It was also during this time that Genghis Khan began his conquests. His first target was the Xixia and Jin dynasties of China. With his newly united Mongol force, he launched a series of campaigns that would see him conquer vast swathes of territory. It was a clear message to the world. The Mongols were not to be trifled with. They were conquerors, and they had set their sights beyond the borders of Mongolia. The birth of the Mongol Empire was more than just the rise of a new political entity. It was a seismic shift in the world order. It was the dawn of a new era, an era of Mongol dominance. An era where the name Genghis Khan would be both respected and feared in equal measure. With the Mongol Empire established, Genghis Khan set his sights on the world. This was just the beginning. The man who had united the Mongols, the man who had conquered the Xixia and Jin, was not yet done. His thirst for conquest was not yet quenched. The world had yet to see the full might of Genghis Khan. Genghis Khan's empire grew at an unprecedented rate, spanning from the Pacific Ocean to Eastern Europe. As we delve deeper into the expansive reign of Genghis Khan, we find a series of strategic moves, major battles, and calculated expansions that built an empire like no other. The Mongol leader was not just a conqueror. He was a military genius, employing strategies that are studied even in modern warfare. One of the first instances of Genghis Khan's strategic prowess was in the invasion of China. He didn't just charge in with all guns blazing. Instead, he used a strategy called the enveloping wing, where his forces would surround the enemy, cutting off their escape routes and leaving them with no choice but to fight or surrender. This approach, coupled with his skilled horse archers and psychological warfare, led to the successful conquest of the Jin dynasty. But Genghis Khan wasn't one to rest on his laurels. He set his sights on Khwarezm, a prosperous region that now forms part of modern-day Iran, Uzbekistan and Turkmenistan. The Khwarezm Shah had made the mistake of killing Mongol emissaries, a grave insult that Genghis Khan would not let pass. He launched a full-scale invasion, employing a strategy known as the feigned retreat. His forces would pretend to flee, luring the enemy into a chase, and then turning around and launching a brutal attack when the enemy was far from their base and support. The result? A swift and decisive victory. As his empire expanded, Genghis Khan employed a unique approach to ruling his conquered lands. He was pragmatic and often adopted the political systems, laws, and customs of the conquered people. This approach not only made it easier to manage these vast territories, but it also helped to reduce resistance and rebellions. The invasion of Persia is another testament to Genghis Khan's military might. The Persian Empire was a formidable force, known for its powerful cavalry and fortified cities. But the Mongols were undeterred. They used siege warfare, a tactic they had learned and perfected during their conquests in China. They would surround a city, cut off its supplies and wait. It was a strategy of attrition, wearing down the enemy's resistance until they had no choice but to surrender. In the end, Persia too fell to the Mongols. The expansion didn't stop there. By the time of Genghis Khan's death, His empire stretched across Asia, from the Pacific Ocean to Eastern Europe. It was a vast territory, encompassing diverse cultures, religions and people. But it was all held together by the iron will of one man, and yet the empire didn't stop growing even after Genghis Khan's death. His successors continued his legacy, further expanding the empire to new territories. They invaded Russia, Eastern Europe and even the Middle East, leaving a lasting imprint on these regions. Closing. At its peak, the Mongol Empire was the largest contiguous empire in history. A testament to the military genius, strategic acumen and indomitable will of Genghis Khan, the man who conquered the world. But what was the cost of these conquests, and what was the lasting impact of this vast empire? These are questions we'll explore as we continue our journey into the life and legacy of Genghis Khan. Genghis Khan's death in 1227 marked the end of an era, but not the end of his influence. In the wake of his demise, the Mongol Empire didn't crumble. Instead, it carried on, guided by the strong hand of his descendants. His sons, grandsons and great-grandsons continued the expansion of the empire, stretching its influence across Asia and into Europe, the Middle East and even North Africa. This was an empire that, at its peak, controlled more than 23 million square miles, making it the largest contiguous land empire in history. But the legacy of Genghis Khan isn't confined to the physical borders of his empire. His reign marked a significant turning point in global history, shaping the cultural, economic and political landscapes of the world. His meritocratic system of governance, for instance, was revolutionary for its time, promoting individuals based on their skills and abilities rather than their birthright. The Silk Road, a major trade route connecting East and West, thrived under the Mongol Empire's security and stability, enabling the exchange of goods, knowledge and ideas on an unprecedented scale. This led to a period of increased cultural interaction, fostering a vibrant exchange of technology, religion and philosophy between vastly different civilizations. Genghis Khan's military strategies are studied even today. His use of psychological warfare, mobility and adaptive tactics have influenced military thought across the ages. His postal system, the Yam, was an innovation in communication, serving as a precursor to modern postal services. The genetic legacy of Genghis Khan is another fascinating aspect. A study published in 2003 found that roughly 1 in 200 men alive today are direct paternal line descendants of Genghis Khan. Yes, you heard it right. The man didn't merely conquer lands, he left an indelible mark on the human gene pool. Genghis Khan's influence can still be felt today, centuries after his death. His legacy is a testament to the power of vision, the strength of will and the relentless pursuit of one's ambitions. He was indeed a man who quite literally changed the world. From the genetic legacy to the cultural impact, Genghis Khan's story is a testament to the power of one man's ambition. His tale is a sweeping epic of a man who was born into obscurity but climbed to the zenith of power, leaving an indelible mark on the annals of history. Let's take a moment to revisit the journey we've embarked upon today. Genghis Khan, born as Temujin, rose from humble beginnings through a tumultuous rise to power to become the ruler of the largest contiguous empire in history. His conquests and expansions were a testament to his strategic acumen and military prowess, and his legacy continues to reverberate through the ages. But what does the modern world make of Genghis Khan? The perception varies widely. In Mongolia, he is revered as a national hero, a figure of immense pride. His image adorns currency notes, public buildings and even vodka bottles. Yet in other parts of the world, he is remembered as a ruthless conqueror, a harbinger of death and destruction. This dichotomy sparks ongoing debates about his legacy. Was he a brutal warmonger, responsible for the deaths of millions? Or was he a visionary leader who brought disparate tribes under one banner, promoting trade and cultural exchange? The answer perhaps lies somewhere in between. Genghis Khan was a man of his time, shaped by the harsh realities of the Mongolian steppes. His life and actions were a reflection of the era he lived in, yet his influence reached far beyond his time and place, casting a long shadow over history. So what do you think? Is Genghis Khan a hero, a villain, or something in between? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And remember, you might just be sharing the thoughts of a descendant of the great Khan himself.